Chinese are ruling the Chinese land. Japan is ruled by Japanese. England is governed by Englishmen. America is governed by Americans. So, Africa must be ruled by Africans. I wanna know who owns the land. We must rule from Cape to Cairo. We must rule our purpose land. I say, we wanna know who owns the land.
ladies and gentlemen, my apologies for the long wait out there. Something suddenly happened in here. I don't know what happened to the images on the screen, but thank you for tuning in and staying put. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I got so much to bring to you today. A lot of things happening both from ground zero in here in the diaspora, and I am going to do you justice with those events and of course with the guests that I have brought to you to bring us some analysis on the events. Please stay tuned and do not touch your remote. I am about to bring you something very, very illuminating. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thanks for tuning in today. It is going to be very, very exciting tonight. We're going to be talking about the elections, recent elections in La République du Cameroon, talking about the Senate elections and the plans they have for it. Of course, we also will be looking at the continuous killing spree that the criminal called Moja Moja continue to visit on civilians in the city of Boya and Fako in general. And of course, the main subject of the day will be the fraudulent charges being brought against the Nsahlai family. I titled it, "The Nsahlai family has essentially murdered sleep." They have murdered sleep in their family. As usual, please, I expect you to go ahead, hit your share button. Let us get the platform quickly populated. Hit your share button. Let us get the platform quickly populated. Tapang Ivo Tanku will be here to discuss that, and of course I have quite a number of other guests on set with me to talk about the ongoings in La République du Cameroon, the killings by Moja Moja, and of course their senatorial elections, and of course also some few announcements coming to you from the interim government. Please go ahead. I can see the numbers are beginning to jump. Please hit that share button. Let us quickly populate the platform, and while you do so, I just like to remind all of you out there that the interim government is, of course, planning the draft 2023 draft starting on Sunday, April the 2nd. Sunday, April the 2nd, and every Ambazonian who wants to see a free and independent country called the Federal Republic of Ambazonia coming on board April the 2nd, Sunday, April the 2nd, to support the draft. Momo is coming first, followed by Mezam, and then the BLM, and then also we have, I think, is it Manu? I guess so. I guess it is Manu coming next. You can see that on your screen. Again, we have Momo is coming on Sunday, April the 2nd. Mezam is coming Sunday, April the 9th. The BLM coming in 3rd, April 16th. Manu is April the 23rd. Meme and Fako will be combined for April the 30th. If you do not see your county here, please don't be worried. Don't be worried. There is a second schedule that is coming up. We just wanted to put out April. We just wanted to put out April so that those that need planning can start planning. The second schedule will come out with the rest of the counties that are not included here. So again, we call upon every Ambazonian to please come out on Sunday, April the 2nd, to stand with the county of Momo, and then the next following Sunday will be Mezam, and then the BLM, and then Manu, and then Meme and Fako, in that order throughout the month of April, and then in May the other counties will follow. But before that, we're also inviting all of you to show up on Sunday. There's going to be a very special fundraiser for our refugees. Some of you have seen the conditions under which they live. We have seen videos circulating in the social media of some of these refugees going through hell in Nigeria, in Ghana, and all of West Africa. And we here at the interim government, we are doing a special fundraiser. Now, we are not giving refugee money to go and eat, to go and pay rent, to go, and we are trying to establish something that can continuously provide those families finances to take care of their children going to school, take care of maybe those who cannot afford rent, take care of medical bills. This is what we are trying to do, something that can continue giving, something that can continue giving. So that is why we are inviting everybody. This Sunday the 19th, March the 19th, we're gonna broadcast it right here on ABS, but it will also be in a Zoom meeting. So every one of you, we are inviting you, please show up. Let us support our suffering people in West Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, they're in Gabon too, many other places that we even do not know. So please, that is the first appeal that I bring to you today. Again, I'm looking for you to hit your share button. Let's get the numbers up. Let's get the numbers up so that I can come to you proper with the presentation. Go ahead, continue to hit your share button, please. And also, I like to bring to your attention this breaking story that just came up to me. The lawyers representing Abdul Karim just put out a statement while I was preparing to come live, and they are stating that the defense team informs the press, the international community, and the public that Muslim scholar and the international peace crusader Abdul Karim Ali and two others will be appearing before the examining magistrate of the military tribunal in Yaoundé on Monday, March the 23rd. Monday, March the 23rd at 9 a.m. At 9 a.m. Monday's appearance is the first following their remand in custody at the Central Prison Kondenge on February 2nd, 2023. They will begin answering questions. That means Abdul Karim and others will begin answering questions on 4 counts of charges. Number 1, hostilities against the fatherland, they say. Number 2, secession, conspiracy to commit secession. Number 3, and failure to report, whether to report where it is not stated. And number 4, rebellion. Rebellion. That is what they will be answering charges for, ladies and gentlemen, as they appear in that court on Monday. On Monday. Again, Abdul Karim is appearing in court on Monday, March the 23rd. March the 23rd, ladies and gentlemen, to begin answering charges brought against him by La République du Cameroon. And again, those charges include conspiracy to what? Let me see. hostilities against the fatherland, cessation, failure to report, and rebellion against the state of Cameroon. So those are the charges, four of them against Abdul Karim Ali. Again, number one, hostilities against the fatherland. I think Abdul Karim has made it very clear he is not a citizen of Cameroon. So actually, if they call it fatherland, I guess the first thing he should tell them in court is that he is not Cameroonian. He is Ambazonian. So to refer to him, to his country as fatherland, is a usurpation. Number two, the second charge against him is that of secession. The third one, they say failure to report. And the last one is rebellion, ladies and gentlemen. So again, the hearing is coming up on Monday, the very first one. The lawyers are hoping that at least this time, those charges will actually be brought up, because Ali has been in detention for months, and has been taken to that military tribunal several times. No charges brought, the case never called, and they will be taken back. This time they are hoping that the case will be called and the charges will actually be read on Monday. Now, the images you have on your screen, on your left, you find Abdul Karim before he was taken to jail, before he was picked up, abducted by French Cameroon military. Now, the picture on your right is exactly the way Abdul Karim looks or appear like today, behind bars in the dungeon in Yaoundé called Kondenge. All right, again, ladies and gentlemen, I am expecting you to go ahead, hit your share button as you join the presentation. I will be taking you first to the story of Nsahlai family, something that I call karma striking the family of Nsahlai Christopher, the family of Nsahlai Christopher. Now, many of you know who Nsahlai Christopher is or was. I will be bringing you that picture, but again, I'd like you to go ahead and quickly hit your share button, send the share link to every group on WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever that you can find people. Go ahead and do so while I bring to you the story of the Nsahlais before I get to that of Moja Moja, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to bring to you that presentation on the Nsahlai again before I get to that of Moja Moja. And the story of the Nsahlai is what karma is all about. A family that has essentially enriched themselves from your families, paying tax on ground zero, and yet they have never been satisfied until this happens to them. Over the years, as the war in the southern Cameroon rages on, one family in the diaspora, particularly here in the United States, continues to be enraged by it. That family is the Nsahlai family. Emmanuel Nsahlai runs a law firm in the state of California. His senior sister, Rosemary Nsahlai, until her conviction, operated a healthcare consulting business. Both of them are the children of Christopher Nsahlai, former minister from Ahidjo and Paul Biya's regimes. The Nsahlai name is a household name in Cameroon. The Cameroons in particular, the southern Cameroons in particular. They are natives of Bui County precisely Jacquerie. Christopher Nsahlai was a Cameroon's regime's apologist and kingpin. Before his death at the age of 65 in 2008, he served in several capacities in the governments of Ahidjo and Paul Biya. He was chief of service under the then Prime Minister Paul Biya. He served as counselor to the Cameroon embassy in Germany between 1975 and 1982. In 1984, Paul Biya appointed him Assistant Secretary General at the presidency, and in 1985, he became Cameroon's ambassador to the Central African Republic. But that wasn't all. In 2001, Paul Biya also appointed him Minister of Transport. Nsahlai was a huge asset to the CPDM party. In November 2003, he was appointed head of a CPDM Reforms Commission. In the July 2007 elections, he was alleged to have used gunfire to scare off opposition voters from his hometown of Jacquerie, an incident he denied, but which is said to have given the CPDM a landslide victory in that community. At his funeral, Emmanuel Nsahlai, his son, alleged that the father didn't die from natural causes, an insinuation that the senior Nsahlai was killed. But who killed him? Emmanuel Nsahlai won't delve into the details. Christopher Nsahlai was married to a Yaoundé woman alleged to be a close relation to Paul Biya. The reason perhaps why the regime in Yaoundé trusted him, used him, and kept him for so long. But this story isn't very much about him, though it helps explain the money, the privilege position, and the access to power that his offspring enjoys with the regime many years after the death of their father. This story is rather about the accruing of riches and wealth, but never getting satisfaction at any level of it. It is about money, more money, and much more money. It is about the penchant for wealth accumulation, power, and societal status that never seems to be enough. Rosemary Nsahlai had made the American dream. She and the husband didn't have to defraud the system to get rich. She had vast experience in healthcare technology and in cybersecurity, and was a leading consultant in the healthcare IT industry, leading an accomplished life in one of the most affluent communities on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. Emmanuel Nsahlai, the brother from the same womb, who has grown famous with frivolous lawsuits against Ambazonians in the United States on behalf of the Cameroon government, doesn't appear, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't appear to be that successful though, as his sisters. Emmanuel Nsahlai fronts a small law firm in California that is known for very little other than lawsuits against Ambazonian leaders and activists. In 2001, the California bar suspended Emmanuel Nsahlai's license for malpractice. In 2021, a few years ago, a court in California charged him with filing frivolous lawsuits and getting victims to spend money on the lawsuits. The plaintiff in this particular case was Tapang Ivor. The court in this matter ordered Emmanuel Nsahlai to pay Tapang Ivor the sum of $12,000 as punitive charges. While Nsahlai uses his law firm license to continue preying on taxpayers in Cameroon, empowering millions upon millions from the Cameroon government in the hope of getting Ambazonians locked up in America. The sister and the husband resorted to the same dodginess, robbing American taxpayers to the tune of $2.5 billion in a get-rich-quick scheme that backfired. Didier Kindambo, a citizen of the Democratic Republic of Congo and husband to Rosemary Nsahlai, fraudulently collected over $2.5 million through a small business loan program put in place by the U.S. government to rescue small businesses from the COVID-19 pandemic. Rosemary and her husband used the taxpayers' money that was meant to save small businesses to enrich themselves in purchases that included a luxurious Lexus car and a private Cessna airplane. Kindambo paid personal taxes with some of the money, then made a down payment on a luxury home measuring 7,000 square feet in Leesburg, Virginia. Then he made various purchases of jewelry, clothing, accessories, and shoes, according to court records. At a time, and I quote, at a time when countless families and business owners nationwide are struggling to make ends meet during the ongoing pandemic, Didier Kindambo committed a multi-million-dollar bank fraud by misappropriating COVID-19 taxpayer relief funds to pay for his lavish lifestyle, end of quote. That is coming from U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. Kindambo, the husband to Rosemary Nsahlai, again, ladies and gentlemen, he pleaded guilty to bank fraud and was sentenced on August 4th, 2021. He faced a maximum penalty of 30 years in prison. But that isn't the crux of the story. This is it. The wife's own case, only as recently as March 6, came up. A federal jury convicted Rosemary on Monday, March 6, on charges of conspiracy, bank fraud, and money laundering. Court records reveal that Rosemary Nsahlai and the husband fraudulently obtained 2 Paycheck Protection Program loans. Nsahlai perpetrated a fraud using 2 of her husband's businesses by creating fraudulent payroll documentation for each business and then submitting that documentation in support of the loan applications. The fraudulent documentation represented that her husband's businesses had dozens of employees with over $17 million of annual payroll in 2019, when in fact the court says they had few, if any employees at all. Like the husband, Rosemary Nsahlai faces a maximum penalty of 30 years behind bars, though often the penalty is reduced to a lesser term. Her sentence is scheduled to come up on July the 19th. While Rosemary Nsahlai gets sentenced on July the 19th, it is very obvious that investigations on the family will not be over yet. Many people want the Justice Department to extend the investigations to the brother, Emmanuel Nsahlai. Emmanuel Nsahlai, using his law firm, is alleged to have also filed for the same loan program, to which he was given 98,000 US dollars. Not a whole lot of money compared to the amount that the sister and the husband took, though. But investigators will be looking at whether, like the sister and husband, Emmanuel Nsahlai too filed with fraudulent documentation. They will be looking into the records of his law firm to determine whether or not it has the number of employees that he recorded in his loan application to qualify him for the $98,000 loan. Investigators will also be digging into his records. The suspension of his law license in 2001 and punitive action against him over frivolous lawsuits in which he had to pay $12,000. Perhaps, most importantly, investigators will also be looking into any possible role Emmanuel Nsahlai may have played as a lawyer advising the sister and the husband in the fraud. And how about delving into his role playing for Cameroon as an unregistered foreign agent in the USA? Whatever Emmanuel's case turns out to be, one thing remains clear. The Nsahllais have certainly murdered sleep in their family. Even if they were to serve only 5 years in jail, they will end up declaring bankruptcy after all their assets must have been confiscated by the federal government. Theirs is a typical case of the hunter becoming the hunted. Karma, they say, is a bitch. And that is really the true case here, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'd like to bring to you, before I bring in my guest, Tapan Ivo, a video clip, a news clip that came in from Virginia when the husband was picked up. I'd like to bring to you that news clip first so that you can see what other news media in the United States reported about it. Let's see if we can get that clip on the screen, please. I hope we can get that clip on this. Okay.
COVID relief dollars to buy a Lexus. A Virginia man is locked up after being accused of using federal COVID relief dollars to buy a Lexus. He also bought a plane with your tax dollars, according to investigators.
Here's 7 on your side. I-Team's Scott Taylor with details on the investigation and the man accused.
This is 48-year-old Didier Kendambu's LinkedIn page. He says he's the president of Papillon Air, a newly formed aviation service company that flies out of the Leesburg Executive Airport, just 17 miles from Dulles Airport. On Tuesday afternoon, he was in a Zoom chat with a federal judge at his initial appearance after being arrested on charges. He took $2.5 million in loans through the CARES Act Paycheck Protection Program and spent the money on a Lexus and a Cessna airplane. The PPP is supposed to help businesses affected by the COVID-19 pandemic continue to pay salaries or wages to their employees. Federal investigators say Kendambu, seen here on his Facebook page, carried out the scheme in connection with 2 businesses that he owns by creating fraudulent payroll documentation for each business. He's charged with 1 count of bank fraud, which carries up to 30 years in prison and a $1 million fine. His attorney tells 7 on your side he hasn't spoken to his client yet. and has no further comment. Kandambu is innocent until proven guilty in a federal courtroom. Kandambu is back here in federal court later this week for a detention hearing. Tonight, he is locked up in a federal jail. In Alexandria, Virginia, Scott Taylor, ABC 7 News.
Now, just last month.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and you get it there. That was again reported by ABC, American Broadcasting Corporation affiliate in Virginia. I am being joined by Tapang Ivo, who has had quite a number of cases running with the Nsahlai, including yours truly, ladies and gentlemen. I was actually sued twice. Some of those frivolous cases by Emmanuel Nsahlai, and in each of those cases he lost. He didn't. Neither did he win against Tapang nor against yours truly here on 2 occasions. But this is not the point. The point is we have a family that should be wealthy enough to live satisfactorily with what they have accrued over the years through their father. But they come to the United States and they just continue to do the same thing they do in that lawless country called Cameroon. Tapang Ivo, tell us a little bit about what you have learned about this case, please.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everyone watching. Of course, my name is Tapang Ivo Tanku. I'm very much excited about this case because it deals particularly with the Ambazonian Revolution first, and also with Tapang Ivo Tanku in particular second. Now, let me explain. Nsahlai Emmanuel happens to be one of the, I would say, the most stupid criminals existing in the Ambazonian Revolution. He is a pest. This guy I have won in the federal courts in the United States of America. I have beaten him multiple times. The federal courts ordered that he pays me 12,000 US dollars, of which he is still owing me 6,000 US dollars because of defaming my nature, my character, and my peaceful nature, because of defaming Ambazonia's revolution that has a right to self-determine the civilians' self-rule, and also of deterring the Ambazonians from their rights. Now, Nsahlai Emmanuel, who currently resides in Cameroon, escaping a current FBI investigation into his fraudulent transactions, particularly the PPP loan. You mentioned Uncle Chris or Mr. Secretary Chris or President Chris, that Nsahlai Emmanuel took a loan of about $98,000. That is not all. His wife, according to the FBI investigations currently running, his wife, Irene Enongchong, Abane, A-B-A-N-I-E. Irene Enonchong Abaine, the wife of Nsahlai Emmanuel you're seeing on your screen, also took a loan of about 100,000 US dollars in 2020. So for a combined record, both Nsahlai Emmanuel and Irene have about 200,000+ US dollars of fraudulent PPP loan currently being investigated by the FBI. I encourage every Ambazonian to keep reporting these thieves to the FBI. He is hiding in Cameroon because he fears an arrest in the United States of America. As I speak with certainty today, as of today, the 17th of March, Nsahlai Emmanuel is currently hiding in Cameroon, where he is building an immeuble in Yaoundé. Now, Irene and the husband, Nsahlai Emmanuel, have reportedly frauded the US government of more than $200,000. The sister, the elder sister, whom you have rightly reported here, has frauded the US government of about $2.5 million. This is the sister on your screen. Both of them face at least 30 years in prison. Maybe it's the first time of them having a felony, but she faces at least 30 years in prison. On her LinkedIn profile, it is showing that she is a doctoral, or she has a PhD If you go critically, she has a PhD from an online, non-reputable university called Golden State University. She is currently working as a Scrum Master. You have a PhD in law and you're working as a Scrum Master in one fake company. That is how dubious this family is. The father, who is a thief, the sister, who is a thief, both of them related to the president of La République du Cameroon, Nsahlai Emmanuel, who happens to be a very short fellow, about 5 meters, I don't know, if not 4. Hiding, this is him on your screen, hiding in Cameroon, is currently under FBI investigation. And he'll be picked up the moment he steps his foot or his feet in the United States of America. It is very important that we highlight this because nothing that touches Ambazonia on the negative side succeed. They will never, ever succeed. Secretary Chris, I have beaten this guy in the United States of America at the federal level. He has made my case if I am seeking asylum very easy for me to get one. He has made my case at all international levels very easy for me to be reputable. This guy I've beaten in federal court at all levels. He has ruined his reputation with his entire family because he has no credibility to stand in front of the FBI, the Homeland Security, and anything to talk against the Ambazonian people. He's a fraudster, he's a thief, and a son of a thief, and a family generational thief, and he should be exposed as such.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think both of us have had to live through some of these his frivolous lawsuits. I'd like us to just take a moment, listen to what he said in this video footage. This was over CRTV so that Ambazonians can get to understand who this guy is. Listen.
First of all, I'm very happy. It's a first step, and it's a necessary step, and it's one of many steps. We've always said that you cannot do certain things and believe that because you're living far away in the United States and the victims and the people you hurt and harm and kill and order their kidnappings are 10,000 kilometers away in Cameroon, that means you would go free. So it's a process we began a few years ago, filing criminal complaints with the FBI, filing criminal complaints with other law enforcement agencies. They bidded and they took their time investigating, corroborating our information, working with us to authenticate the evidence, sending actually special agents here in Cameroon to check on certain local conditions. And this is the results of these investigations. It's the first of many to come as we continue our work and collaboration with various USA federal law enforcement.
Okay, so here Tabangi clearly admits he has been acting as an unregistered agent, Cameroon agent in the USA. Isn't this another crime that the FBI should be investigating?
Secretary Chris, one of the things that we Ambazonians are failing to do, which I am doing explicitly so well with my lawyer, is that I'm reporting this guy and exposing this guy, and there is an ongoing investigation. Look, this guy has reportedly mentioned and indicted himself as a foreign, unregistered foreign agent acting in the United States, violating the FARA, the Foreign Agency Registration Act of the United States. It's a criminal offense. It's a double criminal offense in addition to his expected indictment for his alleged fraudulent transactions for PPP loans with his wife, Irene Enongchong Abani. Now, let me explain something. This guy claims to be fighting against Ambazonians who are committing crimes in the United States. Let me be very honest here. He took his time. He filed a motion in the federal court in the United States, in California, labeling or tabling at least 517 pages of evidence. Guess what? 517 pages of evidence against me. If one did not succeed, two will succeed. If 3 and 4 did not succeed, 5 and 6 may succeed. If 101 did not succeed, 203 may succeed. 517 pages of evidence against me in the federal courts in the United States for more than 2-3 years. To fast forward the story, in front of more than 4 different judges in the United States of America, I beat this man hands down. Not only was he sanctioned as a lawyer twice in the United States of America, he was also ordered by 3 federal judges at the 9th Circuit to pay me at least 12,000 US dollars, of which he has paid 6. It tells you the credibility of this guy is ridiculous and ludicrous. It tells you this man is a fraudster, and an apple does not fall far from the tree. His father was a thief, so too is the son. His father was a fraudster, so too is the son. His father was an ugly thief, so too is this ugly son. Look, the Ambazonia revolution, yes, we have some people in the revolution who are milking out of the revolution, but not everybody. If truly the FBI is as independent as we all know, Tapang Ivo should have been arrested by now. If they have not, it means I am explicitly clean. There is nothing I have against the US government. There is no crime I have violated for speaking for my people. There is no crime I have violated for advocating for human rights, democracy, the rule of law, ghost towns, boycotts, and civil disobedience in the United States. There is no crime of me using my First Amendment right to speak on social media to advocate for the toppling of this man you're seeing on the screen. Is Moyo Paul Bia Bartholomew Bimbondo. I will continue to advocate Uncle Chris, and we are on a good track of winning this battle for the Ambazonia success.
Now, you made a revelation here, Ivor, something that I have not heard. You mentioned that the wife also filed a separate PPP loan application and actually received funds.
Yes.
Have you laid
hands
on the documentation? Because I know that of a man with the 98,000, we have seen the documentation online.
Just Google
have
it.
You laid hands
the wife's
on that?
name. Google it, the wife's name, Irene. Let me spell it. Give me a second to spell, Uncle Chris. Irene is Y-R-E-N-E. Put a space. Enon Chong. Enon Chong like the Bayangi name. Enon Chong. E-N-O-N-C-H-O-N-G. Abani. A-B-A-N-I-E. Let me spell it again. Irene, the wife of Nsahlai Emmanuel. Irene is E-Y-R-E-N-E, Enon Chong, Abani. Abani is A-B-A-N-I-E. If you Google it and you put /PPP loan, you will be able to come out with the amount of money she took in just 1 year. I am not factoring the other year. These are state criminals. These are people who steal from the Cameroon government. These are people who've stolen to come study in the United States of America on stolen funds. I'm only lucky to have been sponsored by the US government to study in high quality universities in the United States. My friends, my colleagues, you watching me probably came through Mexico and other means to study with their own blood and sweat. Nsahlai Emmanuel and the entire family studied on the government's payroll. Cameroon government, after killing your mothers, they come to the United States. They don't respect the law. Like father, like children, they steal and they fraud the US system to buy helicopters to run businesses. Nsahlai Emmanuel will be in jail in the next 1.5 years. Mark my words. Come back to this video done on March 17, 2023. Nsahlai Emmanuel will be in jail, federal prison, in the next 1.5 years. I have confirmation through my lawyers that Nsahlai Emmanuel is being investigated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation for fraudulent transactions under the PPP loan program.
Now, I just looked that up, and I came across her name showing that she took $98,000.
Thank you very much. My facts are
as
authentic.
a husband.
Yes.
Can
My
you see
facts
that?
are extreme. Can you hear me?
That's what her name comes up with. You can find that on your screen there.
Yes. Thank you. My facts are completely authentic. You see, this is her name. Irene Enonchong. This is the wife. Now the woman this way, Nsahlai is sleeper. Make her talk about PG, make they understand her. Now the woman this way, Nsahlai is sleeper. Nsahlai Emmanuel's wife, Irene Enonchong, 98,000 US dollars. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. 98,000 US dollars. And she does not own a law firm. No. She does not own a law firm. No. She works as a scrum master. She works as a scrum master. Scrum. S-R-U-M. Scrum master. This on the screen is the husband, Nsahlai Emmanuel's 98,000 US dollars. What a coincidence. Guess what, Mr. Uncle Chris? What a coincidence. Look at it. The husband, 98,000 US dollars, and the wife, exactly the same amount of money. In 2020, the husband, Nsahlai Emmanuel, has taken 98,000 US dollars. Compare it with the wife. Put the wife's figure. You see the circle, $98,000? Put the wife's figure up. It's exactly 98,000 figures. $98,000. Both husband and wife, 98,000 US dollars in just 1 year alone. This is extremely alarming. We've exposed these gangsters who are currently under investigation by the FBI, and we will continue to expose them. This is fraud at all levels. And look at the irony is that this guy parades in the social media in Cameroon, the state broadcaster of CRTV where I had worked. He's parading as someone who is clean. No,
it is interesting. Hold on there, Ivor. It is interesting that you mentioned the state TV, CRTV, parading this guy as the most righteous citizen they ever had. But then when it comes to these cases, you will never hear them make a mention of it. The husband of this lady was sentenced since August 4th last year. The wife will be sentenced on July 19. Emmanuel Nsahlai, the brother, as you said, is now under investigation. Where is the media in Cameroon, including even the Amazonian media, the Christian, the Guardian Post, and all those? Where are they?
Thank you. This media practices what we call gumbo journalism. In legal parlance, it's called yellow journalism. Soli in Ghana. They take gumbo to cover up the crimes and the state crimes and the families committing crimes by the kakistocracy, the mobocracy, and the plutocracy of neighboring La République du Cameroon's regime. You will never find it on the social media until Tapang exposes it, as I exposed the fraudulent transactions, the arrest of Nsahlai's family, and the indictment of 30 years in prison of this woman you're seeing on your screen. If I did not expose it, it should have been rushed and swept under the carpet. As the Guardian Post will never speak about it, and the Cameroon state broadcaster will not speak about it, neither will Nsahlai Emmanuel, the quack lawyer, speak about it. This man you're seeing on the screen, let me give you further details, is the husband of Nsahlai Emmanuel's sister, who will be languishing in 30 years in the federal prison. This man is a Republican from the Democratic Republic of Congo. He got married to Nsahlai's sister just in 2019, after the passing away of Nsahlai's sister's husband. Let me explain. Nsahlai's sister's husband passed away in 2019. The same year, Nsahlai's sister's husband found a new lover boy, and it's this man. Both of them conspired to fraudulently derail the US government of more than $2.5 million. This man led Nsahlai's sister's husband, this man led Nsahlai's sister and himself to engage in an aviation company private project called Papillon Air. Look, like father, like daughters, and like sons. Each time I have documented this, each time Nsahlai Emmanuel goes to Maryland, this is the aircraft owned by Nsahlai Emmanuel's sister, the Nsahlai's family in the United States. Each time Nsahlai goes to Maryland, the Eastern Coast, he stays in the sister's house. The 7,000 square foot home bought by the fraudulent transaction that you are seeing on the screen. An aircraft born and bought from the sweat of the ordinary American citizen who sleeps on the street to eat a 7-Eleven. This is what Africans do in the United States. And yet, they will label some of us who are free without chains in the United States, working to earn hard-earned, good, clean money. They will label us terrorists. The word terrorist has become so common that the ordinary terrorist spews it without any restriction. We shall know who is the real terrorist when the FBI arrests Nsahlai Emmanuel in the next 1 year maximum, as he is currently under investigation. Just to let you know, each and every one Nsahlai Emmanuel sued in the federal court, despite their propaganda, are free in the United States. This is my hand. There is no chain. This is my hand. I am in my house. I'm in my media room. This is my media room. I am free. Uncle Chris, where are you right now?
I am very free and able to do this because I defeated Emmanuel Nsahlai in California court twice. Well, let me take you to one more clip here of Emmanuel Nsahlai, again, over CRTV, and I can't wait for CRTV to report that their client, their agent, is under investigation, as I can hear from you. Now listen to this.
Because they're in violations of so many laws, so many criminal.
Now he is saying here that we are in violation, referring to you and me.
Let me speak. He says because
laws,
they are in
so many criminal laws of the in the United States, their host country, so many international laws that they should be properly criminally prosecuted, so that those in the future know that whatever rights you want to have politically, there's a proper way to do about it. You don't have to do about it by violating the human rights of innocent populations. You don't have to do about it by conspiring to commit crimes.
I guess you can only go about it by violating the tax rights of Americans.
Uncle Chris, let's not even go that way. This man sits from Cameroon and spews trash. He made this particular statement after I had warned him. I defeated him in a federal court for more than 3 years of a battle running. If I had committed a crime, the United States would have had me behind bars right now. I come out clean, fair, transparent, as the most credible, if not the most credible Ambazonian. You are there sitting in your house, on Chris. Have you been arrested?
No.
Let me ask a simple question.
Never.
He goes to Cameroon, he lies to journalists who had probably never traveled to the United States, thinking that a white man's country is that milk and honey where anybody can come and tell them how glory it is. I'm sorry to say this, I sit in the United States, I have never committed a crime, and I will continue to advocate for Ambazonia's independence under rain and sun. Our people have the right to be protected. Our people have the right to defend themselves.
All right. Please, Tapang, stay in there a little bit. Let me bring in Comrade Oliver and RC Vice Chair Chris Ajua, who are also joining the team here. Let me start with Chair Oliver, Vice Chair of our Judicial Council. Sir, you live in the U.S. for all this while. What is your take on this case of the Nsahlai?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, as an Ambazonian and as a taxpayer in the USA.
Well, it's very hurting. It's very hurting to. I don't know if the images is like this other on my side or it's bright over there.
Yeah, your image is not very clear. I guess it should be your connection, a network problem there with your internet.
Well, at least I think you can hear me, so I think that's the most important.
We can hear you. Go on.
Yeah, so actually, I appreciate you having me here today, and I really appreciate having to share this with Tapang today, who was very eloquent on this kind of horrendous activities of the Nsahlai's family. I think we others have been here for a while, and we work our butts off, try to earn the little that we can earn to earn a living. And I think this country is a wonderful country that gives opportunity to everybody, and we can do so many things at the same time. And I think to take advantage of the system just because, and just because you can do it in this country, the law is the law, and justice is justice. So I think some of people from the Republic who have been in contaminated for so long think that they can carry the same illness from the Republic and come and practice the same thing in the US. It just doesn't work that way. And I think justice is going to take its course. And I'm happy you, Comrade Chris and Tapang, you have now gone through the frivolous lawsuits very successfully. And many others are going to be the same. And I can't wait until Emmanuel Nsahlai is justice is brought upon him, and so that he can the La Republic is going to teach a lesson to La Republic too, that if you are using an agent to fight against Ambazonians who are fighting for their own rightful and justice that is due to them naturally and by international law, karma is going to come upon you. Like they say, karma is a bitch. So what you do upon others, good or bad, befalls you, and it usually comes in double portions. As sooner or later, it doesn't matter how long it takes, it always comes. So any person should be on the record right now that if you are against the Ambazonian cause for independence, full and complete independence, that justice is going to come your way sooner or later. So you better start towing the line. Whether you are an Ambazonian who is fighting against Ambazonians, or you are a Republic person, a man from Republic that is fighting against Ambazonia, just know that justice is going to come your way and come in due course. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Chris Ajua, we have heard again and again that this is a God-ordained struggle. And when you have somebody like the Nsahlai Emmanuel who has put his career on the line going against the Ambazonian struggle, and things like this begin to happen, isn't this what we call karma?
Yes. Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Chris, our president. Thank you for bringing us to the show. Yes, truly, karma is a bitch. Let me back up a little bit and say that Emmanuel Nsahlai in particular has done everything possible to terrorize Ambazonians southern Cameroonians, in the United States, and possibly by extension in other countries of the world. He is the real terrorist. By bringing up these frivolous lawsuits, his goal is to intimidate people into submission so that Ambazonians cannot express their views. They can't say anything concerning the genocide that is going on. They cannot open their mouth to express to the international community about the burning of our villages and our homes and hospitals. He wants to prevent people from even daring to discuss the murder of children, women, the elderly, pulling out students from their university hostels and killing them. All the war crimes that French Cameroon has committed against our people. He doesn't want people to talk about that. Every time that he goes, Emmanuel Nsahlai goes on TV in French Cameroon, how many times have you heard him bring up the issue about the war, about the crimes that French Cameroon is committing? How many times? Just to mention it, he has never mentioned it, because he being an illegal unregistered agent of French Cameroon, he thinks that he can continue to collect money from French Cameroon and do their dirty job for him. Help French Cameroon do their dirty job. That's essentially what he is doing, enriching himself, while Ambazonian's blood is civilian blood is being spilled for no good reason. If we want to talk about terrorism and even the charges that he filed in the United States against you, Comrade Chris, and also against our comrade Tapang Ivo Tanku. If you want to look at those, it's part of his terrorist activity. You can actually look at it as intimidation and a kind of terrorism, where people will become cowards and wouldn't say anything, and give French Cameroon the leeway to do whatever they want to do. We are not going to back down. We will continue to fight for our rights. Everything that Ambazonians do wherever they are in the diaspora, especially in the diaspora, because you open your mouth in over there, and they take you and they lock you up and throw away the keys. They don't give you any let us say a fast judgment or trial. And as they say here in America, if you deny somebody a trial, it's like if you postpone the trial, it's like you are denying them justice. So that is what it is. That's what it's happening. And in La République, essentially that is what is happening. They take people up, they lock them up, and they stay in prison for donkey years, no trial. So what are they paying for? If you lock somebody up and you don't try them, what are they paying for? They are paying for being innocent. Is that justice? Is that what the international community really thinks a good country, a country that is supposed to be considered a member of the international community in good standing? Is that how they are supposed to behave? So some of these problems we can also levy it on the international community, because some of the things that some of the standards that they set, they themselves do not meet. They don't meet those standards when it comes to this Ambazonian issue. They don't meet those standards. And people like Nsahlai, they take advantage of that, and they say, oh, I can do anything, and probably America is going to support me, because maybe they are thinking that America is supporting the French Cameroon, or America is not going to react. But one thing that people like Emmanuel Nsahlai forget is that the United States of America is not, let me repeat, it's not a banana republic. The United States of America is a country that operates according to the law. even if somebody is arrested and he goes on the news, they're arrested, they have to go through a trial and be found guilty. If they commit a crime, and they find out that they were guilty, then they go to jail. That is how it works. But watch, every time that something happens and they hear that an Amazonian has been arrested in America, they blow it up all over in their media. It's like a field day for them. Just an arrest for them means you are already guilty, and that is the French system. That is the French Cameroon French system. You are arrested or you are accused, you are therefore guilty even before you go to court, and that is how even they practice when they send people to jail. So this has to stop. And people, again, like I said, people like Nsahlai are taking advantage of that. But the sun is up, the sun is shining, the light is up, and all the evil things that they are doing is being exposed. It's being exposed. Even the people in French Cameroon, they are beginning to see some of these things that are happening. They realize that what their government has been doing, what their agents overseas have been doing, those things are not correct.
Correct.
All
I
right.
completely agree
Yes,
with you.
Tapan, make the last point on the subject. Let's move to the next one. Go on.
No, I completely agree with everything he has said. Explicitly well summarized as an elderly statesman for the Ambazonia Revolution. I congratulate his eloquence and his intelligence. One of the things that I want to add is that Nsahlai Emmanuel has failed. He was using the system in America to expose what he describes as terrorism. After failing, he has gone back to his dungeons in Cameroon to use the same system, meaning he is regressing and not progressing. So forget about the dying horse. He's escaping as we have won and will continue to win. Tapan Ivo, who advocated for self-defense, still maintains his self-defense. Even when I was going through federal trial, let me explain. People fail to understand the magnitude of this. The significance of Emmanuel suing me at the federal level is so huge to the level where if Emmanuel successfully won even for just one case, every other Ambazonian will never have to say to voice out Ambazonia in the United States.
Yes.
Let me explain.
Yep.
The significance of Emmanuel singling me out, fingering me out, to sue me at the federal level would have discredited the entire Ambazonian revolution to the point where you and I will not have this discussion today.
Yes.
I did not only win him to protect my integrity, I won him to protect the Ambazonia's reputation and integrity. So, if I am winning, it's not Tapan Ivo winning. It is the Ambazonia's revolution winning this guy because he was sponsored by the Cameroon government, an agent illegally operating in the United States, currently building homes in Yaoundé, and operating to tarnish the Ambazonia revolution. He has not succeeded. I did not only win him at the federal level. Guess what? This man you're seeing on the screen took me to the 9th circuit. I believe we have an elderly statesman on this particular program. He can explain to you what the 9th circuit is all about. That means if you think the judges have not fairly ruled, you can petition to the highest level. The highest level of any court in the United States is the 9th circuit. Nsahlai Emmanuel took me to the 9th circuit, where you have the seasoned judges of at least 70 years old. 3 of them, the video is online on YouTube, sat and looked through the case, went through all the 517 pages of evidence Nsahlai submitted against me, and said none of those evidence can even hold any standing for a single second. And Emmanuel was not only dismissed by his case, he was sanctioned as a lawyer in California twice. It's a very huge thing for you to be sanctioned in your career.
All right. Please, Tapan, stay put in there. We are not done yet. Ladies and gentlemen, when I come back, we are going to delve into this subject of Moja Moja continuing to terrorize and murder under daylight civilians in Fago.
To be on the record right now that if you are against it,
ladies and gentlemen, thanks for staying put in there. The man whose face you find on your screen is called Moja Moja. He is a soldier of the Cameroon army, noted in Fako County for picking up civilians and killing them. The recent case was just about 2 days ago. He has said he attacks and he kills Ambazonia Restoration Forces. But the evidence from the recent case of about 2 days ago proves otherwise. Moja Moja literally went into students' home, students of the University of Boya, pulled them out and murdered them, killed them. And the images are not looking good. I should take you there briefly.
Yes, now these people that come for Sunday, that they can't go on the time to step on us. Yes. Now Amba this. No be Amba. Wait, no be Amba. No be Amba. Amba talk anyhow, he say anyhow.
All right. I can't leave that image on the screen for long, ladies and gentlemen. But this is the point. This guy has been doing this for as long as this struggle has existed. He kills civilians, and the Cameroon government entertains it. He has never been reprimanded. The image you find with him on the screen is with the prime minister of that country. When somebody who picks up civilians and kills them stands face to face with the prime minister, and the prime minister is actually endorsing him, ladies and gentlemen, it tells you what kind of people that we are dealing with in that country. In the case of 2 days ago, we have learned that his victims, the boys that you find lying lifeless on the ground, were students of the University of Boya. Students of the University of Boya who have nothing, zero, to do with the war, the conflict in the southern Cameroons. Now, this is one of those guys. Look at him. Again, we are told that this guy, killed by Moja Moja, was a student of the University of Boya. But he was gunned down and made a spectacle on the street by this guy. You can see him there. I don't know whether that is a graduation uniform, but you find him there standing along one of the graduates from the University of Boya. This is against the other guy, also killed by Moja Moja, and they claim they are killing Ambazonia Restoration Forces. They are not killing Ambazonia Restoration Forces. They are killing, gunning down civilians, and this guy has been doing it again and again and again and again and again. Now, the funniest thing, ladies and gentlemen, is, again, the Cameroon government says nothing, does nothing. Where are the human rights organizations on the ground? They say nothing, they do nothing. Where is the media? Imagine if the images you find on your screen of Moja Moja killing students, university students, and climbing on their dead bodies. Imagine if that was being done by Ambazonia Restoration Forces. Just imagine what the media in Cameroon would have made of it, what the human rights so-called groups would have made of it, and you have diplomats in Yaoundé. They see all of these things, they do nothing, they say nothing, and Cameroon has not attracted a single economic or political sanction over these abuses by people, by their soldiers against civilians. Tapan Ivor, let me bring you back into on this subject before I let you go. We have so many of these people called human rights group, the Agbo Balance. They run a human rights group on the ground. The same La République du Cameroon newspapers, they do nothing, they say nothing about atrocities such as this one. What?
Look, let me tell you, all what these guys say in Cameroon protecting the regime is hubris. Agbobala, a woman John, all of those kakistocrats in La République du Cameroon, it is time for Ambazonians to understand one thing. If Moja Moja calls himself a military guy wearing armored military gears and the rest, he should be killed. I'm sorry to say this on the media, but he should be killed. I have seen people who stand and say Russians should be killed in Ukraine. I have seen even senators in the United States on behalf of the Ukraine population saying soldiers should be killed. Why is Tapan's Ivor's word so different from theirs? Protecting civilians? We don't have the right to protect civilians against military terrorists. Moja Moja should be killed. I don't get it. I mean, like, there's no two way about it. This man on the screen is a criminal. He's a captain in the B, the Bataillon Intervention Rapide, storming University of Boya student hostels, arraigning young boys and shooting them in the chest and standing on their corpses. The international police has issued an arrest warrant against a woman John for killing people like this young guy you are seeing on your screen. I don't understand how I need to explain to the Ambazonians that you're on your own. The international crisis today between Russia and Ukraine should tell you the world is focusing on the Middle East and the Eastern European side. No one is looking at Africa at the moment. You are on your own, Ambazonians. You must protect yourselves. Moja Moja should be killed. Why? Let me explain. Because he goes around killing innocent civilians, violating human rights, standing on the dead bodies of young students, parading as a military police officer, as you see on your screen. This man should be killed. There's no two ways about Tapan Ivo. I'm as honest as it gets. I'm as honest as you see it. Some people will come here to try to mend faces or try to speak in political languages. I will tell you what is, in my personal public opinion. It's not a crime. It's not a crime for me to advocate that Osama bin Laden should be killed. It's not a crime for me to advocate that a woman John, alias Moja Moja, should be killed. It is not a crime for Caiaphas in the Bible to say it is better for one man to die than for the entire world to perish. It is better for a woman John to die than for the entire Ambazonian civilians, including women and children, to perish. Ambazonians, you are on your own. Don't believe in conference by conference. Don't believe in international political charades called dialogue. Those guys will never knock their heads for your independence. You are on your own. Protect your civilians, including women and children. Buy your guns and bullets to defend your communities. Don't attack, defend. Your defensive strategies have been working. If Secretary Chris wants to run his war draft, support. If ADF wants to run their war draft, support. If this one wants to run his war draft, support. Nobody will help you. You're on your own. That's my final word for you. You are on your own.
Absolutely. We are on our own. Unfortunately, many Ambazonians do not realize that. They think that somebody will will drop from space to get us win this war. No, ladies and gentlemen, we have to win this war by ourselves. We have to fund it. Now, let me get back to Oliver and Chris out there. One thing that I just don't understand is that the government of Cameroon sees this guy, Moja, carrying out these atrocities day in, day out, and they do nothing. They do zero. He keeps on doing it. Shouldn't we take him by ourselves? There was one guy called Patrick Ekema. He did the same thing this guy was doing, but eventually he was taken out. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
Chris.
me? Yeah, Comrade Chris. Let me take a little bit aback as to why he is doing this. You know that right from Ahiju,
Sagat, una come out bush. Una come out bush. Amba, you talk anyhow. We say
okay. Ahiju started this. Remember when we were in the federal system, the state of West Cameroon, I'm talking about Ambazonia, was doing better than the state of East Cameroon. So Ahiju decided to uproot and boot-carted away things like Cameroon Bank and other institutions that were doing well in the state of West Cameroon, Ambazonia, and use that so that Cameroon, West Cameroon will fail, and then he would turn around to say that the state of West Cameroon was costing the federal government a lot of money. We should go to unity straight, and thus his fake referendum of 20 May 1972. So the idea right from there has been twofold. One, impoverish Ambazonia, southern Cameroon. That has always been the agenda. Two, reduce the population of southern Cameroon. So it has always been the hidden agenda of La République. So why do you think La République will try to stop anybody that is just accomplishing the agenda of La République against the southern Cameroons? Impoverish southern Cameroons and kill them as much as possible so that you can reduce the resistance. So that is how Moja Moja is empowered, and many others that are killing Ambazonians. So like Tabam said, without mincing my words, Moja Moja is got to be eliminated. He has to go and meet Patrick Ekome. He has to go meet Patrick Ekome sooner than later. And everybody that is doing that, the Ambazonian Restoration Forces are there. If you, La République, wants to fight anybody, that is who you face. You don't go after civilians, innocent students who are armless and harmless. It is just what we cannot let it to happen. And we know that we are on our own. Ambazonians, you are on your own. You cannot count on La République to come to the table. You cannot count on the international community. So we have to take this justice in our own hands and support our restoration forces. Either you are supporting financially, morally, you are leaking. No, you should be a spy on the La République military and the ideas, and give that information to the restoration forces so they can take care of them. And the next stage that is going to be very important is going to be us start working towards a referendum And I'm actually working on an article that will be published in due course, maybe in the next 3 weeks or so, on the importance of referendum. Why that will always be the end route for the Ambazonia struggle. The referendum is going to be the end route. So all these talks going to the table, Canada and stuff like they just failed, they will never lead to the full and complete independence of Amazonia. Referendum is the way. When I finish that article, I lay it out, I lay all the points, I lay all my research, I put the historical perspective of other struggles and how they have ended. That paper will be published in the next, towards the end of this month or early April, and it will be available to the public. We should start working towards a referendum that will be fully Ambazonian, free and fair, monitored and conducted by international community.
All right.
That is how
we will get on that subject on another day. It is a very big subject. We cannot just brush it here, but I promise you we will get on it. Let's get to Honorable Chris and to give us his take on this killing spree that Moja Moja is carrying out in Boya.
Yes, thank you, Comrade Chris. Moja Moja, whose real name, as we already know, is Ewome John Echo. He killed those students. These are civilians. Linus Fonte Ngule, and the other one is called Mbo Akua. Both of them are from Balikumbat County. What Moja Moja has been doing all along amounts very simply to two words: war crimes. War crimes. You hear every day they talk about war crimes in Ukraine, war crimes in Ukraine. That is what he has been doing. Some are even arguing and say, is Moja Moja a member of the BIR? Or is he a civilian putting on military attire and carrying an assault weapon? It doesn't really matter. He is doing French Cameroon's bidding. Whatever he is doing French Cameroon's bidding. Look at their prime minister, him standing with their prime minister, and the prime minister is giving him accolades. The prime minister of French Cameroon, John Gute, represents French Cameroon in the Commonwealth. Is the Commonwealth not aware about the war crimes, not only of Moja Moja, but the rest of the French Cameroon military that they have been committing in Ambazonia? If you talk about war crimes, stuff having to do with killing of civilians, burning of homes, all those crimes relating to war crimes, is it not happening in Ambazonia? Is French Cameroon not committing these crimes in Ambazonia? Why is the Commonwealth quiet? Why is the European Union quiet about this? Why is the United Nations, both the General Assembly and the UN Security Council, quiet about this?
Is where is the local media? Where is the local media?
Well, like Comrade Tapang Ivotang, who said earlier, it's pay to play. It's a pay to play game. They publish what they are paid to publish, and they are also scared about telling the truth. You know, to them the truth depends on from what side the truth is coming from, and they don't want to talk about stuff that they may end up like a Martinez Zogo or Wazizi.
Assuming that the media is afraid to report such killings, how about the human rights organizations like the Agbo Balas, the Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and the rest?
Exactly. That's a very good question. the so-called human rights organization pick and choose what to publish on very serious matters concerning cases of war crimes, desecration of corpses, all the terrible things that they do, torture that they do on civilians. They are they pick and choose what to announce it or they water everything down, or they simply ignore it, People like Fontem Niba, Agbobala, people like that, all the other human rights groups in French Cameroon. How many times have you seen them come out on TV and condemn all this stuff openly and say this is not correct? How many times? Nothing. They skirt around these issues. They avoid them, and they think that is going to go away. But we Amazonians know that Moja Moja is a criminal, is a war criminal, and being working for the French Cameroon, he is if he is killed, he's considered, to me, he's an enemy combatant. That's what he is, an enemy combatant. Doesn't matter whether he's civilian or he's officially registered within a bill. He's an enemy combatant, and he should go. We should take care of him.
Well, there is a saying that 99 days for a thief, 1 day for the owner. Again, if Moja Moja is listening to us, he is reminded that there was once a Patrick Ekema. He did worse things than he is doing today, and he was taken out. 99 days for Moja Moja. 1 day for all his victims. That will certainly happen. Now, Comrade, let me take you guys to another subject here before I open the phone lines, take calls for this show. Last week, La République du Cameroon put up their so-called senatorial elections, and of course, we haven't heard the results yet. We don't know what the results are. Senatorial elections in which not even the general population is allowed to vote. But it is going to almost a week. You have not heard about the results. But that is not what is important here. What is important here is what lies ahead in La République du Cameroon. Now, they send councillors, ladies and gentlemen, who do not live in those communities to go there and vote. Vote for senators, vote for parliamentarians. I call them visiting electorate. They only go to the villages to vote when elections are called. You look at the case of Lebialem, for example. I'm sure some of you saw the number of people lined up in Minji to participate in the election. And you ask yourself, where do they live? Not in Minji. They live in Chan. They live in Boya. They live in Douala. They live in Yaoundé. But every election, they are ferried there by helicopter or by road to go and vote. And after they vote, they leave, including their so-called SDO, colonial officials, the colonial mayor, every one of them. That's what they do. If any message, Ambazonians should know this. In spite of that election, I want Ambazonians to know we control the territory. If we do not control that territory, if La République du Cameroon wants us to believe they still have a handle over the territory, let those councillors go back to their communities and live there. Let the SDO go back. Let the colonial mayors, let them go back and live there. Then we will agree for once that indeed La République du Cameroon controls the territory. No, they do not. They do not, and we will continue to prove to them indeed that we control that territory, ladies and gentlemen. But that is not the point that I want to focus on here. The point I am focusing on is about the bigger plan that Cameroon has a few months ahead. This is what I am hearing. When Biya appoints the next 30 senators. Frank Biya, we have learned, is going to be appointed as one of the senators. And eventually, Frank Biya will be made the Senate president. Now, Biya will become incapacitated, or will declare himself incapacitated, just as in the time of Ahijo. And they will say, according to the Constitution provides for the Senate president to take over, is it for 30 days or 60 days? When Frank Biya, who will be made the Senate president, takes over for 30 days, you will hear the normal Dimabola emerging. Oh, this man is God sent. He ought to be our president, and motions of support will fly in from all over that country, declaring Frank Biya the next president of Cameroon. This is very much possible. It is what I am hearing in La République du Cameroon. But has this got anything to do with our quest for independence? Of course not. But it is important we know what lies ahead, what is coming, and how we ought to be strategizing to overcome situations like this. Of course, we're not going to discuss that on television, but it is important that we know exactly what lies ahead. That is what is coming. The elections are paving the way for Frank Biya to come in. He will be picked as a member of the Senate. And maybe as the youngest, the senators will put their heads together with instructions from the high office, from the head of state, for Frank Biya to become the what did I call him? The Senate president. Frank Biya will become the Senate president, and then Biya will fall sick, carried over to Switzerland or to France, and then Frank Biya will take over. Then motions of support flow in, urging Frank Biya to take over the mantle from the father who was God sent. Of course, that is what is coming. But again, this has nothing to do with our struggle. Ambazonians, listen to the sound of my voice. They are ready and prepared to continue perpetuating this conflict and the killings for as long as they can. We have to stand up, walk as one, and we are calling a conference together to discuss these things in the month ahead. But this is what is coming. And I'd like my panel to come in here, weigh in here, and say something about this. Ivor, please, tell us what you think about this plan in La République du Cameroon.
There is one thing that Ambazonians fail to understand. The best time for Ambazonia to get its independence will be when La République du Cameroon will be fighting among themselves for a power tussle. There is a power vacuum in Cameroon. There is no smooth transition. And in Africa, when you study African conflicts, conflicts are born out of an intransigent, or when there is no smooth power transition. This is exactly what will be happening in Cameroon. But again, how does Ambazonia fit in? Ambazonia fits in squarely in the sense that we've been preparing for a long time, for at least 5 years of intensive military buildup. We've been waiting for this moment when Cameroon will be pulling back their forces to protect their so-called transitional regime in power. And this is where Ambazonia can blockade La République du Cameroon, shut down the borders, build its military arsenal, take over all the regional capitals in Ambazonia, and expunge all those terrorists who are still illegally occupying our territory. What is happening in neighboring Cameroon is none of our business. But again, are we happy when our enemies are at loggerheads? Yes, we are. A united enemy is never good for another enemy. A divided enemy is the best strategy towards winning that divided enemy. In neighboring La République du Cameroon, although Frank Biya, whom you're seeing on your screen, is not so popular and not even interested in power, there are other kingpins who are languishing in prison in neighboring La République du Cameroon's Konengi, who are waiting for the right moment to request the Swiss bank to give back their money to engineer a coup. Why do I cite Swiss banks? In Swiss banks, you don't put money in your name. You have a code. And that is why it's been very difficult to trace and retrieve money stashed in Swiss banks because they operate in codes. So if you die or you lose your code, you will never ever retrieve your money. To put it in plain words, Marafa Hamidou Yaya and a couple of other gangsters who are in the G11, the G11, who have billions in Swiss banks, cannot relinquish or cannot give back the money to the Cameroon government. They are waiting for when Paul Biya closes his eyes. There you will see the real Sudan happening in Yaoundé. Ambazonians, the best time for you to prepare for your independence was not yesterday, it is now. You have to start arming yourselves to the teeth, because when it will happen, Cameroon will pull back its military to defend the regime in power or the transitional regime. The Northeast will be fighting to take over power through Marafa Hamidou Yaya and a host of others. The Bulus will be fighting to take over power. The Betis will be fighting to take over power. The Bamilekis may be fighting to take over power. But you, the Ambazonians, you are not interested in Yaoundé. You are interested in Boya. So who will be protecting Boya? It is you. I raise my case.
All right. Can I come in?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Ivo, I doff my hat on your reasoning. There is quite. Let me say this in a very logical and point form. A civil war looms in the Republic of Cameroon. As far as succession is concerned, that Frank Biya may become the president of the Senate. The Cameroon Constitution of 1996, Section 6, talks about the presidency. And subsection 4 talks about vacancy. So in case the president is incapacitated, the president of the Senate becomes the president. And he cannot organize election before 20 days, but he must organize a presidential election no more than 120 days.
Yes.
Number 2, he cannot be a candidate in the presidential elections. So I will not cover the rest of it. It just comes to support.
But do you think that really matters to them?
So let me come on.
When they come up with motions of support saying, "Oh, this is a person Cameroonians want," you think the constitution matter at the moment to them? Of course not.
It does not. So I'm coming.
Right.
So since the constitution, if they want to respect, the constitution is always the toilet paper of the president. There's no separation of powers in Cameroon where you have the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative. There's not. So he controls the legislative as well as the judiciary. So he can change the constitution at any time. But that not even withstanding, what do you think is going to happen? You have 3 camps in the Bulu Beti clan. There are 3 camps. You have the Frank Biya camp. I said it in my other visit before. You have the Motaze camp, and you have the Ngongo camp. Now, the killing of the journalists.
You have the Northeast.
No. I'm still within the Bulu itself. Before I'm coming. I'm still just within the Bulu. There are 3 camps there. So the killing of Martinez, the journalist, has worsened and caused more division in the Bulu Beti clan right now. So those three camps exist. Now, you will realize that Paul Biya just did appointments in the Ministry of Defense. And those upper scale appointments are all the Bulu Beti people. All of it is all of them. So if you look at the generals that Paul Biya has appointed over the years, more than 80% of them come from the Central South province regions. So what does that mean? He thinks that when when he leaves power and a civil war that looms comes, because the Northeast know that between the entente between Ahiju and Paul Biya, the North was going to take over when Paul Biya was no longer president. So they are wounded. They are waiting. They have the resources. And in the three northern regions, Adamawa, North, and Extreme North, most of the people that work there in government offices are not people from those provinces. So that was quoted already by Isa Chiroma, that the chunk of the people of the offices over there are not Nordics. Nordics are very few in government posts right now. So they have a plethora of grievances that they have. And they have been preparing for this takeover for a long time. So when they, remember in my other visit, I talked about the confidant of Ahiju, when he mentioned that there will be an alliance between the Northeast and the Bamileke. So the Bamileke is an easy alliance that they will align with the northern province, the regions, in this civil war that is looming in the place. So appointing generals, about 80% of them from the Central South, really doesn't matter, because all they do is a command. They don't go to fight. Generals don't fight wars. So when there's a civil uprising, generals don't matter. It is the people that matter. They will break into all those stockpiles and pick up the guns and fight. That is going to happen in Cameroon. And Paul Biya, he himself said he was going to die in 2024. He said that in 1994 that they should give him 20 years. So by next year, Paul Biya dies if he is a prophet of his own doom. And whether he dies or not, if he tries to transfer power through the Senate to the son, that civil war will start. So this is important, very, very important piece of the pie to Ambazonia. And I will no longer go to what Tapang Ivo already elaborated. The advantage, I had talked about it in one of my visits here before, the advantage for Ambazonia when there's a civil war in La Republique. And that in a strategy sessions, we'll begin to put those strategies in place, because we don't discuss that on TV. So that is going to happen, and that is why it's very critical for the Ambazonian cause, what is going to happen in La Republique de Cameroon. So you see that succession is being a big problem now, and it is going to just trickle to where the civil war is going to come. I can say it now, mark my words, come back to this session next year. When it happens, the civil war will be in La Republique de Cameroon. Or that's the time that Ambazonia is free and free forever. But we have to strategize and know how we get to make that happen. So I can hear for now before I come back again. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Before I bring in the Honorable Chris Ajua there, I've been joined by Chairman Patrick of Njipwa. Chairman, your camera shakes a lot. If you can get it still, that would be great. I will allow you to come in. We've been talking about a number of issues here, from Nsahlai to Moja Moja, and now the possibility of Frank Biya becoming the leader of that country. What's your take on all of this, sir?
Chris, and thanks to all the people here today. I just have a few things I'm going to say, and I'm going to focus on this guy who's in Boya, call himself a Moja Moja, or whatever they call him. I just want him to go back and read history to look at some of the strong or able leaders who thought they were above the law, looking at Gaddafi, looking at Idi Amin, looking at Saddam Hussein, they were all controlling the military, controlling their economy and everything. And Moja Moja is just the guy who has stuff around him, running around here, and he is killing people, breaking every law. In fact, in the people, more than the people of Southern Cameroon, especially the people of these people that he is speaking, they are not foreigners. They are Southern Cameroon, they are your children, they are your brothers, and they are people that have come to one with another or the potential leaders of New Cameroon. There is no way the population is sitting there looking at somebody who is taking the law, neighbor, but the foreign country to the land, and nobody is doing anything. Moja Moja, and I'm going to say this to you, you are above the law. You're going nowhere. I don't know what understanding people want to do.
We are really struggling to get you, comrade. I don't know what is wrong with you. I don't know what others are struggling as I do, but it's hard to
Yes,
hear
and
you.
maybe you can park and hold his phone closer because it's bringing yeah.
I'll just come back to the let me tell a better.
All right, go ahead. Locate a better place.
Yes.
Let me get to Chairman Chris Ajua to give us his reflection on this subject of Frank Biya becoming president of Cameroon through appointment as president, to the Senate and then president of the Senate.
First of all, I do agree with Councillor Oliver Asar and Comrade Tapang Ivo Tanku about what they have said about the transition in French Cameroon. Let me also add that somebody that we should have mentioned, John Frundi.
Yes.
We know that we know that this is essentially news about a country east of the Mongo. It's foreign news, but this foreign country is still affecting our lives because of the war that they illegally declared on us.
Yes.
I look at Frundi as nothing but a beggar of crumbs. This is a man who virtually earned, in reality, earned the election in, I believe it was 92, but never became president. And from that point on, he's been going down and down and down. And right now, is considered to be totally down the drain. Nothing but a beggar, and his party is totally wiped out. I do agree that there is going to be the transition in French Cameroon is not going to be a smooth one. I don't think it's going to be a smooth transition, and Ambazonians should be ready for whatever eventuality comes up in French Cameroon. We should be ready. And right now, even before that time comes, because the international community doesn't seem to care about what is happening, they talk a lot about concern. If you listen to them carefully, they always use the word concern.
Yeah.
Concern. You can be concerned about your baby having a wet diaper. Maybe he might have the rashes. You could be concerned about somebody being malnourished. You could be concerned about a lot of things. All these things that are happening to us, the genocide, the burning of villages, the killing of women and children, the torture, every form of war crime that imaginable. They always talk about concern. While we are at it, let me. I'm going to mention, Comrade Chris. I'm going to mention a website.
Okay.
Let everybody go there. People that don't know about it. I know a lot of Ambazonians already know about that website, and I will say it twice. It's called AmbazoniaGenocideLibrary.com. AmbazoniaGenocideLibrary.com. Everybody should go there and look at the atrocities. The international community, whether you are with the African Union or whatever organization, rather than simply saying we are concerned, go there and look at it and see how many Ambazonians have been killed. Look at the corpses that have piled up. Look at the people that have been burnt in their homes. Children fried in hot burning oil. Old mothers like Mami Paulina Api being burnt in their homes. Baby Martha shot in her bed while she's sleeping, 4 months old. Our little children killed in Boya and Bamenda. School children going to school or coming from school being killed. And people would use words and say, we are concerned, we are concerned, we are concerned. No, being concerned is not enough. They have to do something about it. They have to do something about it. And even though we are waiting for that violent transition in French Cameroon, Ambazonians should know that being on our own for now, we will rely on firepower. Firepower. Either we get to Boya first before their transition, or we get to Boya during their violent transition, or we get to Boya immediately after that. But fire, no matter what we do, there's still going to be firepower. Thank you.
Thank you. Tapan, please, a quick take on that, and then I will open the phone lines for Ground Zero.
Yeah, interestingly, Secretary Chris or President Chris, we already have the firepower. We already are in Boya. The only thing we need to do is to intensify and prepare for the unknown. This is what La République du Cameroon has already been doing. And before we even prepare for the unknown, we should study geopolitics. What is happening in Ukraine and Russia is deterring and draining the Western military support away from Africa and turning them towards the Eastern European side. They will not help Cameroon in any way to transition to power with that full tenacity and force. It is to our advantage. Let me repeat. If there was no Ukraine and Russia, the Western powers would pour in with their might, whims, caprices, timber, and caliber to support the transitional regime in neighboring La République du Cameroon. There are other conflicting power factors, China and Russia included, and they are all distracted right now from African politics. Their attention is on the heartland. He who controls the heartland, that is Eastern Europe, controls the world. We Ambazonians, at this critical juncture, should be focused on raising money to buy defensive weapons to protect our community, protect our Boya capital, protect our territorial integrity and national pride. Nobody will help you. Ambazonians, listen. You had the last chance 4 years ago. You have another chance now. Tomorrow you will have no chance. When Cameroon will fully transition and install its regime in power, you will be repeating the same cycle you've been repeating for the last 70 years. And your people will be tired. They will have a conflict fatigue, and they will be talking against you as they're talking against you right now. Conflict fatigue is not a good thing. Ukrainians are already suffering from a conflict fatigue. The support for Ukraine last year is not the same amount of support for Ukraine today. The support for Ambazonia 7 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago is not the same support as we have today. Don't repeat the cycle. Use this opportunity to the best of your advantage.
That is very well said, Ivor.
Yes.
This war is ours to win, and we are not going to lose it. Ladies and gentlemen, stay put When I come back, I'll open the phone lines for your calls. Tape. Gentlemen, thanks for staying put. Now I will open the phone lines for those of you who would love to call in and contribute to the show. But before you call in, please make sure you turn down the volume of your set. Turn down the volume of your set, and when you call, concentrate on the phone. Concentrate on the phone. If you have the volume of your TV set in the background running, you are trying to talk to me from your TV, there is a delay, and so I will not be able to take your call. So please, before you call, make sure that the volume of your set is turned down. So go ahead. I think I have the first caller here from Ground Zero. Hello.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. May I know where you are calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Ground Zero, precisely in Fako.
You're calling from Fako, all right. What is in your mind?
Okay, first of all, I want to talk about the case of the two students that were killed and also the case of Sagat in Ekona.
Okay, good. Go on.
First of all, about the killings of the students, and for some past years now, I've been seeing that the fighters in Fako have given Moja Moja the way out to do whatever he wants, because Moja Moja does not fight. He's every day, every second, every day on the street, reading noise. And last 2 weeks, Sagat captured 2 of the students and set them free. But this same evening, he's coming
go on this.
So I don't really know what is going on in Fako.
Did you say this evening?
Yes, this same
Anyway, I'm free on
Today, Thursday, 2 of Sagat's boys were captured and killed?
Yes, his camp was attacked.
Okay.
The same people he showed mercy to, they have now attacked him.
Okay.
So this struggle is going in a way that is affecting more of civilians, not even the fighters. When you see today, civilians are turning against the fighters, is because the fighters now are working as if they are working with the military, especially here in Fako.
Okay.
Yeah, because you see somebody like Moja Moja, he walks around with 3 of his boys, and those 3 of his boys are holding the carving woods, not even gone. He's the only people in gone. He will come in Victoria, go everywhere, in Boya, in Tico, he goes everywhere freely and making noise, and nothing is done about it. But every day you arrest people, torture them, kill some, and bury some alive, and nobody is saying anything about it. So this case has to be handled so quickly before many innocent lives drop.
All right, thank you.
I'm so in support of what Comrade Tapan is saying. The only way out is firepower, nothing else.
All right, thank you for the call.
And
thank
most of the fighters in Fako, they are attaching emotion in the struggle.
All right, thank you. We hear you. All right, let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. President.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
All right.
Meme County.
Meme County. Okay. Go on, please.
Yeah, my topic is all about Moja Moja.
All right.
Yeah. I want to plead for you people in diaspora that you people should organize.
I'm sorry, you are breaking, sir. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from Nigeria.
Okay, what is your contribution?
Yeah, my contribution is that this Moja Moja of a team. Is it that our restoration force is Moja Moja above them that they can bring him down? This guy's been terrorizing Amber Land for a very long time. They should do something about it.
Okay.
That's my contribution.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. We hear you, sir. We hear you. You have a great night. Hello.
Hello, Mr. President.
Hello. Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
Please, sir, I'm calling for Meme County.
All right. And what is your contribution?
My contribution is about Wunja Wunja.
Okay.
Eweme John.
Yes. John, yes.
Yeah. I'm pleading for you people to organize a team of fighters that are physically fit, both physically and spiritually, so that they can take that man out of that land of Buya. Because that man has been killing our civilian in such a way that I cannot even tell, I cannot even talk, and the Cameroon government is keeping quiet, and they are not talking anything. Even the media houses, they are not talking anything on what that man is doing. That is crime against humanity.
Right. Well,
that's my own question.
What I can assure you is that if we were, if Patrick Ekena was able to be taken down, Wunja's days are numbered. That's all I can tell you. Thank you for the call.
That is it. Thank you too, sir.
All right. Okay, the phone line is still open, gentlemen. Go ahead and call. This is ground zero. It appears this is a bad connection here. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
Comrade Chris.
Good evening. Where are you calling from?
Meme County.
Meme County. Okay. What is the contribution?
Yes, my contribution, my question is to Comrade Tapang Ivo.
Okay.
Yes, Comrade Mr. Tapang Ivo. Yeah, you and Mark Barata have been overlike for the time where late General Ivo will be there. Because on one word did he make don't happen for this Amazonia territory. But I don't know, for the past time now, you just be silent, Mark Barata just be silent, and it's surprise for you for come up again this time around. I don't know if it be say that the same Tapang Ivo that will be known, will be like and will be really boast on the street, then suddenly just suspend we for air. I don't know that the same you don't come back, and if that the same you don't come back, I wonder one tough way we used to talk and things that happen for down. Yeah. Yeah, we used to talk one talk things that happen. I don't know if you should really assure me say you should give you that assurance for talk and it happen. And expect from you, sir.
All right, let him respond to you. Thanks for the call. Tapang, over to you, sir.
Certainly. Yeah, certainly. I thank you very much for your contribution. Yesterday, I began a very long discussion, lengthy discussion. For the first time, I talked with Siko Jusun. Apparently, something they come up. If you don't notice them, and not be part of any group. Tapang Ivo will be known before. We not be part of any group. He not be part of any group today. Till we don't destroy we for this revolution because of internal politics. I feel guarantee you and I feel bet you say in the next 1 month, You go get the same thing will happen for 2017. It happened right now. Mark Barata they on board. Will they come out with our own plans and will still support other groups that will be available and they still work active. Chris Arno and the rest will still give them their full support. But we'll continue as we'll be there for 2017. I know say people they don't get fatigue, conflict fatigue. But the thing we don't destroy for this revolution, I say one test politics before we test revolution. But now we'll test the revolution before we go test the politics. We'll still come back for square one. And I think that we will make them for this revolution back.
Thank you. Comrade Oliver, I see you nodded your head there. You want to add something to that?
Yes. If we can put the revolution before politics, before personal gain, I think we'll be independent already today. So we need to set us beside our ego, our selfish interests, and politics. We cannot do politics in a revolution. When we get to Boya, that is when we politic. We can politic as much as we want, but we have to have it first. You don't want to. You want to not burn before you get to the door. By the time that you get to the door, then you hit your head on the door. So you can't even go in and you collapse. So let's put politics aside. Go ahead as one and revolutionize, because all the balkanization that we have so many factions now is killing us. That's why we need to get together in one room and close our ranks. If we don't do that, this transition that is coming up in the Republic, we may not take full advantage of it if we are divided the way we are now. We need to make sure that we find common grounds that we can work. And the only thing is, that should be it. And any person that is an enabler, that is not eating with the Republic and coming into Amazonia and pretending, I'm talking about right now, should be set aside. But we should close ranks as one person, like Ivo is just saying. And I don't care. I don't care whether it is Tapang or whoever. But once you are focused on getting to Boya, genuinely, I support you. I think that is what we should be doing right now.
All right. Thank you. Let's get back to the phones and see. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Lions Dance.
Okay, from the foreign country. All right. What is your contribution, sir?
Yes, thank you, and I want to thank you people for the great job you are doing. Yes, apart from this, I want first of all to welcome Tapang Ivo on board. And then another point where I want to rest and I say, apart from this issue of Moja Moja, we get a problem in Batigo and Guzan in particular.
Okay.
ADF believe from Uruguay they can betray our fighters, and it don't make in such a way our genuine fighters they don't be scared, they don't scatter. That means they don't stay again for the various countries. What is happening in Guzan is that the AGF few boys where they did for Guzan, they work out, they collect money from every stores. They collect up to 50,000 francs from store dealers. And just Christian, one of their the AGF fighters be killed in Guzan by the unknown. Simply for the fact that this fighter he put gate. They put the gate. They collect money from every driver driving into the market. So this issue of ADF, we have to discuss this and look for a solution.
All right.
We have to.
Yes, round up your.
Yes.
The quality of your call is not the best. I think we get your point, but I think I will ask. I will allow Tapan to weigh in on that because this is something that has been going on, and we all know that. I know he has condemned this also on several of his messages. Tapan, go on, please.
Yeah, the only thing is that first, make una understand. Not just talk about pigeon, make because that call come out from ground one or from ground zero. Make I just talk about pigeon. For inside conflict, you always get one or two Judas then where they could work at the terrorize people there. And we have always condemned these acts. I don't support, I don't encourage, and I will not in any way, even if I'm the best ADF, I will never support it. And I will tell you if it's ADF is bad. It demoralizes our own population. It turns our people against our own people. But we should understand there are always some black legs, Judases among us who will take advantage to derail the revolution to settle for all families' cause. But make we not forget the big picture. The big picture na say wait, make we fight La Republic. The big picture na say wait, we not forget that small thing where they happen. Make we take what 2 hands, we join and it come out 4. We take 4, it join and come out 8. We fight La Republic first. We don't deal with them. We can't handle that small one them. We inside we. Imagine say a woman John in the work up inside boy the terrorize people. I don't hear some call talk today. Say wait to cause we for rally people then for put a bounty on a woman Johnny head. But let's be honest, that's the truth.
Yep.
If you go for Ukraine, they get a website. Then a website they don't put bounty for people that head the way they need to support Ukraine. And yet, the international community support. I don't know if I don't watch the breaking news today. The breaking news today, I say Vladimir Putin they don't issue arrest warrants for ICC. Good. So that they can fight war. Why you Amazonians no fit issue arrest warrants for John?
Yeah.
Why you want issue your own for you terrorists? But yet, the international community, where they don't go kill more than millions of people, then they go issue arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin. Amazonians, make una copy the playbook of the Western strategies and implement in Amazonia. If they do one thing against the enemy, use the same thing. If they use nuclear bomb for Japan, use the nuclear bomb for La Republic du Cameroon.
All right, thank you there, Tapang. Let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Hello, Mr. President. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Where are you calling from?
From Mezam.
From Mezam. The first call from Mezam this evening. Okay, what is in your mind, ma'am?
Yes, I want to thank you and your panel, especially Comrade Tapang Ivo.
Okay.
Yes, I'm for thank you very much for the work we do, especially you.
Thank you.
Yes, I want for thank you for the work we do for put head made that conference the whole for me. So the only thing we want to talk now say may God touch all that Congress and where they want separate. Say may God make a come together so that we will join head. So that will nothing for do even with man like Moja Moja. When I see that 2 students with the life for them, so I not even woke up on top chair. So that Moja Moja, I did pray for all my them for Amazonia. May they pray for Moja Moja. May God give Moja Moja one day for we. Mu slaughter ye. Even if they fit cash Moja Moja, Mami then they will cut you one as they be cut that way journalists. Moja Moja over would you pray may God give one day so since we talk say 99 days for the thief. One day God will get Moja Moja. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for the call. I can assure you we will definitely get Moja Moja. He will run, he will not hide. 99 days for him, just 1 day for us. All right. Hello.
1.5 million francs CFA for anybody who will bring this idiot called Moja Moja. 1.5 million.
1.5 million CFA for anybody who will lay hands or take down Moja Moja. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a caller, and I know this caller actually.
Even in La Republique, anybody who can take this mission, 1.5 million francs CFA. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I hear you. I have it in the record, and I know who is calling. All right. Let's get to the next caller. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Turn down the volume of your TV, sir.
Okay, I've turned down the...
All right, I can hear you now. Go on. Where are you calling from? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go on, sir. Where
Yes,
are you
sir.
calling from?
Okay, I am calling from ground 1.
Yes, go on.
Account. So, discovered the last time I went to ground 0, I was not happy at all, because these explorers from La Republique, just imagine from Quen to Bahele Junction, you have about 3 checkpoints. They will extort money from our drivers, and from Bahele Junction to Amomezam, before you reach Foncha Street, about 4 checkpoints, and each checkpoint I saw a driver. I was sitting inside the taxi. The driver removed 5,000 to a policeman, to the gendarme, to the army, to the bill. I was very, very terrorized inside the vehicle. It's just that I hold my peace, because that is extortion. They are fueling the crisis. And one funny thing is that people like Moja Moja, I am very, very angry. The other day I went to Boya. It's just that I don't know what strategy to use. I did not see anybody. We should have tried and attacked that man. That is my secret. I was working with this secretly. And one thing is that I want us from the diaspora, whether it is the ADF, whether it is the Ambazonia Restoration Forces, for instance, your television, that is African Broadcasting Service, the Ambazonia, Amba TV, and the ACN TV from ADF. I want that people should cooperate and be one, because at this point in time, so that we should be united. When the war looming in the La Republique is coming to divide them, because a united minority is united more than a divided majority. And if we are united in our minority, we will defeat the undivided majority. So there's always a saying that if the head of fish spoil, nobody can eat that fish. So you people are up there like the head. So what do people we do up there? We are very, very happy to follow it chronologically, so that Moja Moja should come down. And one thing, my strategy is that let all the women in Northwest, Southwest organize a march and march against Moja Moja. Let all the young men organize a march and march against Moja Moja. Let all the children, all the students, all the institutions, all the levels of life in Ambazonia, let us rise up. Because when something happens at this level, there is no particular strategy. Again, we can use whatsoever we have in any possible means to bring down the enemy, because that is the number one enemy. And you can see the Prime Minister there is encouraging him that whenever he sees any of the Anglophones, any of our Ambazonia person, he should catch it, and he is there happy. So what I am saying is that, Chris, I encourage you people, and I want to thank Tapang Ivo again, and Mr. Chris, our father who's there, and Barrister Oliver. And also I want to talk about Ebenezer Akanga. Where are they? Where are they? Where are those people? And also we have John Akuru. I've been following his infos also. And I want to say that all of you should unite as you are united like this, so that we should deal with the enemy. And one thing with me is that I am in ground one, and you know, if you just open up in ground one, you are there, and many things are happening. So I encourage you people the more to continue the fight, so that one day we will enter Boya.
Thank you. Thank you for the call. So you have a great night. Okay, let me see. Somebody writes, I have 1.5 million. Anyone who can bring down, for anyone who can bring down a woman. Okay, and somebody else writes, greetings, comrade. My suggestion is that since Swiss and Canadian talks have failed, we should plan well and get our freedom through a referendum. That one on your panelists, that one of your panelists suggested. Think about it, okay? We hear you. Somebody writes from Germany, Comrade Chris, the only way forward is unity. All the factions in this struggle need to come together and fight the common enemy, which is La Republique. Okay, sir, I hear you. Who else? I have 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes to go, but let me get back to the panelists. If any call comes in, I will interrupt. Comrade Oliver, coming back to you on taking down Moja Moja. Listen, I can assure Ambazonians out there, Moja will pay for what he continues to do. And I like the Cameroon authorities to hear the sound of my voice. I don't mince words. Moja will pay. But before I get back to you, let me get this caller, please. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, Secretary Chris.
Good evening, ma'am. Calling from Germany?
I'm from Germany, yeah.
Okay, and what is in your mind, ma'am?
My question is going to Ivo. Ivo, why did you push Nambere to drop down his arms? Good night.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Did you get a question, Ivo? Oh, I think Ivo is frozen on the screen, but the question was, why did you push Nambere to lay down his arms? Unfortunately, Ivo's camera is frozen there. It appears he is no longer there, but
Comrade Chris, if you allow me, I want to back up.
Comrade Chris, take on that question there.
Comrade Chris, if you allow me, I would like to say something about
yes, go on, Honorable Chris, go on.
Yes, I want to back up a little bit to a previous topic about unity. First of all, I would like to thank you about the approach you are using at the moment. Maybe it's not perfect, but it can be fixed. There are a lot of people out there that think that if a leader is organizing a unity conference and they are the only ones pushing that conference, then it appears they are trying to impose their ideas or their ideology on others. But a better approach for unity and collaboration would be the one that is coming up. I believe there is one coming up in May. Somebody put up something in May.
Yes.
That if all the groups, I'm just using the groups very loosely because personally I do not think the IG that you lead is a group. Constitutionally, it is not a group. It's a government. So if everybody can come together, meet during that conference, draw up what you will call a memorandum of understanding. In other words, nobody is coming there as having invited. Nobody is coming there as being the one running that show. Everybody will be present there as part of that conference and will bring up ideas about how to proceed. From that point on, after all the ideas have been brought together, a memorandum of understanding (MOU) would be drawn, and the members would then sign that memorandum of understanding and then proceed from that point on and act as one. At that particular point, you will have a united Ambazonian, call it conference group or whatever name team that you want to call, then they will all be speaking as one, and they can go from there and you can achieve more. That way, if the international community says we don't know who to talk to, you guys are all divided, we can say, hey, this is our memorandum of understanding. These are the members of the group. We all agree, and then whatever we do now, we are doing it as one. It's not like a few people run out there and claim credit for whatever is happening in whichever country. Everybody will be acting as one if we can use this method I'm talking about. Thank you. That's something that I wanted to add on the topic about unity and collaboration.
Yes, Honorable Ajwa, let me throw a little light on what we have planned coming up in the days ahead. Now, lots of you out there have heard about a conference being organized, put together by those who went to Canada, and we reached out to the organizers and we said to them, anything having to do with negotiations, dialogue, has to be an Ambazonian affair. And so Ambazonian leaders and stakeholders all have to come sit down on a round table to figure out the way forward. But the way they have been trying to organize this has been very, very, how do I put it? I mean, a group of them trying to own it, not making it an Ambazonian thing. And having reached out to them and they refusing to cooperate in the way that Ambazonians want to see it happen. We reach out to every other leader. When I say we, I mean the interim government will reach out, put out a proposal to all the leaders. The proposal is out there. Many of you may have seen it. And we have now called for a meeting of these leaders tomorrow. So the leaders and the stakeholders are meeting tomorrow to see how they can move on with something that is inclusive. That is not an interim government thing. Even though we are taking on the initiative, we do not want it to be seen as an interim government thing. We want it to be seen as an Ambazonian thing. We are going in there tomorrow without an agenda. We want Ambazonian leaders and stakeholders to own it, draw the agenda, and see how from there we can move on with unity and collaboration. And this has nothing to do with negotiations. Of course, we're going to talk with negotiations eventually, because listen, comrades, Cameroon is not ready for negotiations. I think if anything is important now, it is about we can collaborate going forward, taking on La République du Cameroon. That is what is in our mind first. It is not necessarily about negotiations. If negotiation comes up, we are ready at any point, at any hour to discuss it. But our goal now is collaboration, unity, how we can work as a team to prosecute this struggle. All right. I see Comrade Oliver would like to make a point, I believe.
Yes. Yes, collaboration is very key, because if we had that, we'll be in Boya already. So I listened to Comrade Chris. I think that was a good explanation, as well as President Chris. I was talking of Comrade Chris as you first, and then President Chris. So it is actually that all-inclusive conversation is what is key, without any particular group or the IG having to own it as though it's their thing. Be open-minded. We'll get in a room, shut the door, discuss very openly, and come up with a memorandum of understanding. I think that will be the way forward, so that from there we can now not say, okay, this is how we're going to function, and we'll begin to share roles as to who can do this, who can do that, and so on. I think so that is a kind of starting afresh by organizing ourselves, because if your charity begins at home, we have to organize that before we talk about negotiations with La Republique, which to me they are not even important, because La Republique is not ready for any negotiation that talks about independence, because we wanted just to get with them and negotiate the terms of separation. That's all that we want. So if they have the agenda that they think that we're going to go and talk about one Cameroon or whatever, that is not what we want, and that's why I talked about a referendum that now will be what we'll be discussing probably in the next visit, and as I go ahead and finish the article that I'm working on as well.
All right, thank you, comrade. Let's take the last caller here. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Hello. Where are you calling from?
From Fako.
Okay, and what is your contribution?
I just want to say something concerning the unity collaboration that you people are talking about.
Okay.
As long as I can remember, there have been particular groups that always the complaint has been coming that these people don't want to collaborate, these people don't want to collaborate. Have we considered the fact that some of these groups can be a proxy for the enemy, and having them to collaborate, we will not be risking them. For example, let me just take it directly. ATF. We have seen the fighters being anti-us on the ground, and then we will put them now into them, and then want to collaborate with them. And if it comes to be that these people are actually working for the enemy, will us not be risking the entire collaboration? Because we know this idea of divide and rule. Will they not come inside and then divide and cause confusion all over again? Then we start back from square one. That is my concern I have about it.
Thank you, sir. You raise a very pertinent point there, and let me assure you, some people have taken our drive for unity to mean a weakness of the interim government. They think that the interim government is no longer capable of delivering on its own. Let me assure every one of you out there, we are not desperate. When we go out championing unity and collaboration, we are not desperate, because one thing that I have observed, and thank you for the call, one thing I have observed is that I hear this calls out there, let's dissolve every group, and just get some Ambazonians to lead something. I don't know where those Ambazonians have been, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know where they have been. I don't know how suddenly we're going to find some Ambazonians to come and lead the struggle, whereas they have not been visible for the past years. This interim government, we will guard it and protect it with all that we can. And so if anybody and any group is out there thinking that we are going to surrender and pass over the interim government to them, Ambazonians look up to this interim government for everything that happens on the ground zero, for the heavy lifting and everything, and we are not ready to capitulate, to give it up. You agree and you accept collaboration, working together, doing things together. We are with you on that. But other than that, don't make a mistake. We are not capitulating. So thank you for that idea. We are not desperate to work with anybody that we do not trust. That is plain and clear. If it will take the interim government to deliver to Boya, I can assure you we will do that if we hit the wall on this collaboration and unity initiative. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I like to thank you for staying put for 3 long hours. 3 long hours, and I like to thank my guests for showing up to be with me and taking the questions, answering them. Honorable Chris as well, thank you also for coming in here. Thank you, Tapang Ivo, for being part of the show. I look forward to having you again next time, next show. Thank you. Thank you. Before I go, I'd just like to remind everybody again of the fundraiser on Sunday for our refugees. Please, I'm pleading with you. If you've never been a refugee, you won't know what refugees go through. I want to appeal to all of you. Please show up on Sunday, this Sunday the 19th. Let us support them. And of course, also we have the draft. The draft starting on Sunday, April the 2nd. Sunday, April the 2nd. The drafts are starting with Momo, and then from Momo to Mezam to Libialem, and then to Manu, Meme, Fako, and all the other counties. All the other counties come in. You find all the 5 listings here in this program here, but the other listings will be coming up eventually. But for now, you have Momo on April 2nd, Mezam April 19, Libialem April 16, Manu April 23, Meme and Fako combined on April the 30th. So please get ready. You don't want your county to come last. You never want your county to come last. Identify with your local government, because the counties are doing this local government by local government, and together they contribute for the county. So please identify your local government. Go in there, put in your support right now. And if you can call anybody you know can support. Let me assure you guys, even if we are left 3 of us or 4 of us or 5 of us in this struggle, for as long as fighting goes on ground zero, this war is not over. This war is not over. And should we, God forbid, we lose all the fighters, we will bring in mercenaries. Ladies and gentlemen, we will bring in mercenaries. La République du Cameroon is not going to run away with victory, and time, by God's grace, is on our side. It is not on their side, because they have debts to pay, they have projects to execute. Let me assure them, we will sabotage them. We don't mean to overthrow their government. We care less about their government, but we want to take back our country. We do everything to sabotage them. Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. I look forward to being back with you, possibly on the Wednesday next week. Good night. God bless you all.